So moving on to the potential for severe weather here in the coming days. This is going to be the focus of the forecast, right? And I'll try to do another either short or long form video to talk about the cooler temperatures coming up here for the deep south, a good portion of northeast, right? But there's been a lot of talk about severe weather returning to the central plains and maybe the southeast again. So I have two products here that I'm going to go through to show the potential for severe weather, right? And this is a GEFS experimental ensemble, which has been, I would argue, it's been pretty accurate about severe weather. So you see the different percentages here, probabilities, and the different colors, and here's the dates, and here's a 500 millibar flow, okay? And it shows the different members. The GFS has Ensemble has 30 members. Okay, so 500 millibars is mid-level flow. We like to look at this when we see a flow pattern. I do anyway. So accurately depicts we got our this 500 millibar trough. Mid-level low is up here into Canada, still spinning around, right? And our severe weather potential today. This is Thursday, right? So that's where our severe potential is today, along the Gulf Coast, maybe along the Carolinas, but not high probabilities here, 15, 30%, not that high, right? Moving into tomorrow, see this 500 millibar low, middle of a low is hanging out here, up to the north, it's slowly moving to the east, trough down here, swinging through, generally westerly flow, but you see the flow is kind of pushed down along the Gulf Coast here, right? So in this trough, digging here, maybe some height falls and some increased convergence along a boundary here could lead to some severe weather. And we already talked about that, right? But in general, not significant severe weather. Okay, so this is Friday. We go into Saturday. This trough wants to dig down even more here and push this down here, right? This is where the GFS Ensemble is talking about severe weather here, potential, right? Pretty low here, but if you look at the severe potential for this day, it's definitely on the books from the Storm Prediction Center, as well as, excessive rainfall. So move into Sunday. You have more of a northwest flow regime here with this trough over the East Coast, pushing cooler, drier air down to the north, and wants to bring another mid-level low out west here. Maybe a short wave moving through the flow up here in the central U.S. could bring some thunderstorms here. We'll have to see. More of a this trough here on the west coast. We'll see what happens with it. Maybe a short wave ridge, and maybe some thunderstorms down here in southern Florida. And that's where your rainfall will be on Sunday, right? Now, we got some height falls, 500 millibars here. Our trough is hanging out up here, right? With a pretty stout high pressure moving up here, right? But you got this mid-level low moving through here, and this trough maybe digging down in the central U.S. here. You have this regime of this going this way, this going this way, maybe some defluence here, right? Which could bring back severe weather Sunday into Monday. Although the probabilities aren't that great, 15, 30% at this point. Okay, going to Tuesday, this trough maybe regresses some, right? And this mid-level low is hanging out here in the west, likely bringing some short waves to the flow. And maybe that's indicated here by some height falls. And this isn't really a good depiction of that, but you see what I'm talking about here, some ripples in the flow. So where these two kind of come together here, right along the lead of the Rockies, um, you know, focus for severe weather. And any dips down here that may coincide with a short wave, we could have a situation where we get some significant severe into Tuesday. And it has this little blip here that looks like it's trying to hint at significant severe. But for the southeast, you see the general westerly flow. And any perturbations in the flow that move through to the southeast could bring rainfall, right? This is Tuesday. Wednesday, this trough kind of wants to fill in some with some shortwave reaching big and developing to the west. This trough even digs further to the south, which could bring some thunderstorms, severe weather to this area on Wednesday. And maybe a shortwave redeveloping here, some here, right? And rainfall and thunderstorms along the East Coast. This is Thursday of next week. This is a week from now. There may be some thunderstorms here, but you see, you get further out with this, you see the spaghetti plots, the model guidance is all over the place. So it's really hard to get a good grip on this, but at this point, I'm just going to go through the flow pattern here. Short wave, moving through with a short wave ridge to the west of it. This mid-level feature, this low up to the north is just remaining there, right? The flow kind of levels out, and maybe this is just because the GFS ensemble, you're losing some resolution at this range. You see the spaghetti plots are all over the place, so it's really not even worth talking about at this point because you have so much, see the wide range of possibilities here. So let's go back to Thursday into Friday, right? So, you know, we have a couple quiet days, maybe severe Sunday into Monday, and through the first part of next week. And after that, the probabilities, we just can't really forecast that. As you see here from the severe weather, SPC for next week, right, this is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, showing predictability too low. So that tells me they don't have a lot of confidence in posting 50% probabilities. And before that, potential is too low. So the potential for severe weather is too low to really talk about. So excuse me for sniffling here. Got some allergies going on. This is so we'll have to see how this plays out in the coming days. So real briefly, I'm going to go over the StormNet probabilities, starting with lightning. This is another tool I use to look at the hail risk, right? Did I say lightning? Anyway, hail risk to start with. Today, we got some hail possible in southern Texas, right? And maybe into southern Louisiana in the afternoon hours. And starting off, maybe some going on right now. Let's see if we can look at that here. Bring this up. Yeah, so don't have a lot going on, right? We got some storms moving to the north and east here into looks like some pretty significant storms moving through here, right? But they kind of missed this area, our area here, and we didn't get a lot of rain this morning. See how it kind of developed out to our east here as this moved through. So That's unfortunate, but going back to this, let's move this over here. I don't know where that is, but risk forecast kind of got off track here. Hail risk pretty minimal, and to the 30th, maybe some risk along the Gulf Coast here, maybe down into Mexico here, out west maybe, but not a lot of probabilities. So thankful for that. Then we get into Friday afternoon. The hail risk increases again out west here into western Texas and moves to the east in the afternoon hours. And this is the Saturday, right? So we got Friday into Saturday, 2 a.m. to 2 p.m., right? It gets a little wider range here along the Florida coast, and we talked about that potential for heavy rain and severe weather here that day. Get further out, Sunday, maybe some hail potential up here in Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, although quite low. And it's Sunday, showing some hail potential here in Missouri, so we'll have to watch that. Sunday, Monday, again showing some hail potential here, 10 to 20%. We talked about the trough, maybe building out to the west, bringing in some short waves, interacting with the surface boundary as the trough builds down to the south here. And then you get into Tuesday. We talked about this potential for some more significant severe weather here in Oklahoma again, Missouri, Kansas. Sorry, guys. Threat moves further south into Wednesday. And then we have over risk down into the deep south again, right? Texas, Mississippi. And then we get into the 7th, and that's where I'm going to end this for the hail risk. Going over the wind risk, we'll start this off this morning. Potential for some wind gusts here, greater than 50 miles per hour. Let's see, 58 miles per hour. Pretty high potential right along the Gulf Coast, Louisiana, Charleston area, maybe up into northern South Carolina here. All right, so we go through time with this. Not a lot going on in the evening hours for winds, right? Really not a lot going on at all. And then maybe into parts of western Texas and south central Texas near San Antonio. You got a wind risk here, 9 to 10 a.m. tomorrow, 10 to 11 through the day, and moves out into the east here and along the Florida coast here. Florida coast, northern Florida, Jacksonville, Gainesville, Lake City. This is a general like period, 2 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday. So 12-hour period here at this point. So that's why the probabilities I think have gotten higher, because you're going over a longer period here. It's not within a short period. That moves down to the south and east. This isn't a forecast, guys. I'm just showing you what the probabilities are. Moves down towards Orlando and down into Florida, southern Florida here. All right, we go into Sunday, into Monday. You see how the wind risk increases up here again in the parts of the central U.S. Monday, Sunday into Monday. Monday 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then Monday 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. We have more of a wind risk up here in the Chicago, Detroit area. Michigan, Indiana, and points south, or maybe out west here a little bit. Then moves to the south Tuesday to Wednesday. Is probabilities of gusty winds up into New York State, down into Tulsa. This may be non-thunderstorm winds up here. We'll have to see, right? Down into the central U.S. as well, Mississippi Valley, parts of the central U.S. Probabilities move further south with the wind risk. Parts of Texas with the highest probabilities: Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, and Illinois. And push to the south and east as that boundary moves to the south. This is the 6th. Still some relatively 10 to 20% probabilities there along the Gulf Coast as that boundary moves offshore. Lastly, tornado risk and where the locations are. Looks like we have some severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing here right now in South Carolina, 6:12 to 7:12 a.m. Short range. Not a lot on the map here at all. Thursday, Friday, we have the return of some really slight probabilities of a tornado of any strength right in western Texas, although quite low. That moves to the east. It's quite low anyway because it's in the morning hours, so I think there's a good probability there. Those probabilities move they're non-zero here into Florida into Saturday, so we still have that potential there as that boundary moves through tornadoes into northern Florida and southern Georgia and parts of central Florida as well. Moves to the south. And then into Tuesday, Monday into Tuesday, we have that transition time period where we have the potential for tornadoes here in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and basically in the four corners of this area, like pretty much a bullseye there, right? Not saying this is going to happen exactly like this. This is probabilities, right? Moving to the south and east. Maybe some higher probabilities in the afternoon on Wednesday, but not that high, 10, 20%. Moving to the south. And maybe marginal to less than marginal probabilities here along the Carolina coast and the mid-Atlantic. And that's where this ends. So a few days of rest from severe weather, and it's the probabilities are there, although they're not high at this point, high enough for the Storm Prediction Center to talk about it. Definitely possibility, depending how the pattern evolves. So we'll keep y'all updated in the coming days. Appreciate y'all watching. Take care and God bless y'all.